Lovers channel. Today let's see about a summary of a play of Shakespeare's play, The Merchant of Venice. It's written in 1596, 98, written in London. It's published in 1623, and the Renaissance as a literary period. Genre is comedy, and some people they call it as a revenge tragedy. And next, its settings in Venice and also Belmont, which is a nearby town. So next is climax. At the climax, trial of Antonio the merchant and Shylock, the Jewish moneylender. Here, antagonist, it means the villain of the novel is Shylock, who is Jew. So, historical background of the novel is, at that period, Jews were uh, just they treated as they are borrowed. They use means that they are used to charge a more interest on borrowed money. So they started to hate the society, and someday they exiled them. But Oliver Cromwell was the king, allowed Jews to return, and Christian dislike these Jews, and this dislikes can be seen in the play. So let's go to the summary of the this play. And this play, Antonio and Bassanio was the main character. Antonio and Bassanio were friends. So Bassanio is not a so much wealthy man, but he is noble man, good-hearted fellow. And Antonio is a merchant present in Venice. So the title is The Merchant of Venice. Antonio is a very good friend. In order to Antonio helped those Bassanio by giving the money which he asked to owe this girl hand. There's a Portia. Your Homans to get eligible to marry this Portia, who was a wealthy noble woman. So, though this Antonio does not have any cash in hand, all his ship went to sea, but still he wanted to help his best friend, that is Bassanio. So he took money from this Sherlock. So Sherlock was a money lender, and he lent him 3,000 ducats. Ducats means gold coins, or you might call a dollar, but here it's gold coins. And after much hesitations, Shylock agrees Antonio will guarantee the loan with his property as collateral. However, when Antonio himself arrives and begins insulting Shylock for committing usury, it means charging interest on his loans. So Shylock proposes a bizarre alternative. He will not charge the Bassanio any interest for 3 months. However, if this is the main thing of the play, Antonio defaults, Shylock will be entitled to cut 1 pound of flesh from anywhere on Antonio's body that he likes. And confident, Antonio had confident that his ship will return to Venice with many times 3,000 ducats and he'll get more than 3,000 ducats. So he agreed the Shylock's deadline. So he accepted. So meanwhile, here in a country estate of Belmont is another place which is nearby Venice. Portia laments to her serving woman Narcia. Narcia is the name of a character. About her father's will. So Portia's father written a will. So it stipulates in the mind of this Portia, who marries the Portia, that person should answer a riddle by choosing one of the 3 cassettes. There's a cassette. It's a box, which is one is gold, and another is silver, and another is lead. Only the man who chooses correctly can become Portia's husband. This is the present in the rules of Portia's father. It's in the will. So Portia has been disgusted with all of her suitors, those four. Still, Narcia reminds Portia of a fine Venetian marriage prospect, that is Bassanio. So later at Belmont, the Prince of Morocco, there are many princes will come to test their fortune, like Prince of Morocco, Prince of Oregon. Marco initially arrives and he's tried to solve this riddle, but he chooses the gold and he failed. Meanwhile, Venice, Lorenzo has a friend of Bassanio, has fallen in love with Shylock's daughter, Jessica. Shylock, you must remember that he is Jews, Jew man, okay, caste, Jew by caste. So one night when Shylock goes out, Jessica steals a large sum of money from her father and elopes with Lorenzo, as they planned. So then they travel with Bassanio to Portia's estate. Along with many others, they traveled to Portia's estate. So later, the Prince of Oregon next, he tried his fortune, but still, after much deliberation, he chooses silver, which is wrong again. So as the Prince of Oregon leaves, Bassanio arrives, laden with gifts of Portia for this girl. And a few weeks passes and news arrives that Antonio's ship have been lost at sea. This is one of the greatest this is a sad news for this Antonio. Though Shylock has been unable to locate Jessica, he consoles himself that he'll take a revenge in the form of a pound of flesh as promised by this Antonio, which is in the contract. So back to Belmont, Portia and Bassanio, who have spent all this time together, have fallen in love. So Portia begs Bassanio to wait for facing the riddle because she cannot bear the thought of losing him if he guesses wrong, but he insists, and he just go ahead and he tried his fortune, but fortunately he gets success. So to seal he chooses the correct cassette, that is lead. Next, to seal their betrothal, it means as a promised, as a kind of engagement, Portia gives him a ring, instructing him never to lose it or give it away to any other. Then Narcia's and Bassanio's usual friend, Gratiano, announced that they too intended to wed. However, just then a letter arrives from Antonio with news of his lost ships and Shylock's intention to collect his pound of flesh. So these alarmed Portia and gives Bassanio enough money to repay the loan many times over, as Bassanio hurries off to Venice because he is in Belmont. So Portia hatches a plan of her own to save Antonio. So now it's their turn to return this help which has done by this Antonio. That's a grace. Okay, in the court of Venice, the Duke has presided over Antonio. There's a court picture again. So Antonio's trial. It means his investigation is going on. Queries is going on to Antonio. Shylock resists their request that he show mercy and insists on pursuing his pound of flesh, despite the fact that Bassanio has offered him 9,000 ducats instead. Narcia and Portia arrive on the scene disguised as a law clerk and a lawyer. So Portia become a lawyer and Narcia become a clerk respectively. So okay, later Portia points out that contract and Shylock holds doesn't give him the right to take any blood from Antonio. This is a humor of Portia which helped to save this Antonio, and that if Shylock sheds even a drop of blood while cutting Antonio's flesh, that all of Shylock's wealth will be confiscated by the state. She further finds Shylock guilty of conspiring to kill a Venetian citizen and therefore must hand over half of his wealth to Antonio and the other half to the state. So Antonio and the Duke decided to show mercy. However, Shylock must only give half of his wealth to Antonio, not to the state, and promised to leave the other half to his wealth to Jessica and Lorenzo. Jessica is a daughter of this Shylock after the death of Shylock. So, in addition, Shylock must convert to Christianity. Devastated is by these decisions and the judgment the Shylock accept. Later, as Portia is leaving, she is still in disguise as a lawyer. Bassanio, who still thinks she is Balthazar, the lawyer, so tries to offer her money in thanks of her. Balthazar, what is this character? Is a servant of Portia, sent to obtain her letters of introductions and customs from Bellario. Balthazar is also the name Portia takes when she is the one who works under the Portia. So this Bassanio, he doubted this this lawyer as a Balthazar, but she is Portia. When he offer her money in the form of thanks, she refuses, asking for the ring that he is wearing instead, but cannot give because Portia has promised. Thinking of his vow never to part with it, Bassanio hesitated initially, but later this friendship of this Antonio tempts him to give a ring. He gives in. Gratiano also gives his ring to Nasia. So back to Belmont. Lorenzo and Jessica have been enjoying an idyllic romantic evening. Shortly before dawn, Portia and Narcia arrive, soon followed by Bassanio and Gratiano and Antonio. The women feign indignation that their husbands lost their rings. However, they soon end the game and confesses their role in the court scene. The couples are reconciled and news arrives that Antonio's lost ships have returned safely to port, bearing great riches. So now Antonio become a very rich person, and play ends in a happy ending mode. So thank you. Please do subscribe to the channel and share and please click this bell icon to get a notification for my further videos. Thank you.
Everyone, welcome to this